What was not great about it was everybody knew that you had it. It was evident you had stunk with had real it stunk so
Yeah.
fucking bad. Everybody knew you had it. There was no like, and that's primarily why I think it doesn't exist anymore. I think the reason it doesn't exist anymore is because it stunk so bad. It literally gave every two-bit cop every came in.
Everyone was doing it, and at one point you will get always a constant supply of it, but not necessarily good quality, and everyone get fucked. They don't want to buy anything of that name anymore. But yeah, there's a thing that have happened. Let's see, early 2000 was that kind of a elite weed that was starting, if I can say, like a type of elite weed that was more
Oh,
available to everyone than before.
I well, I think that was really the emergence of hydro and indoor. I mean, that was I think skunk was the
No,
first.
no, it's more in the 90s that the idol were really intense. Like 80s,
You're saying end
90s.
of the '90s is when it was when you think it like we got really good.
Or maybe we're starting to, yeah, no, I agree with that. We're
See,
starting to be better
I
on
think
it, I
I think
guess.
I think honestly, I think around skunk was honestly one of the birthplaces of good cannabis. I think that's where we kind of started getting into it. That was when first really good homegrown and hydro was going up. I don't know, early to mid '90s, I'd say. Around there, you got some, but then like from that, then quality started exploding. Things started going really fast. I would say
Uh,
that. Oh, go ahead.
you know, all the seed line, let's say, I remember reading a couple of things on what Dave Watson was critiquing some people that had good line before, is that they were not maintaining the quality of that what you can find in online through the time, and
Well, I think
most of them may be
information.
crossed
It
with
was
time
information.
also.
You didn't have source. You didn't have sources of information like that you have now. You can Google anything you know about fucking growing weed or growing pot. You fucking did that before, and they were coming through your door. Like you started looking up stuff online, too much stuff. Even you bought the wrong fucking four things together at the fucking store, and they would be looking you up.
Oh, but right now, if you're looking at stuff on your PC uh, as long you want, man. But as soon they will investigate on you, they'll look at all of it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but there's something that in the early 2000, like when next generation was it was starting to be a thing. Let's say
Yeah.
I found a magazine June 2000 with the article of like in the cannabis culture with the article of DJ Short for revegging a plant. And I see in it Federation was still there, and Next Generation had some hybrid with in it that I would have been curious to know if there's anyone that still have it. I think there was some tropical treat in it from some really limited release of British Steve. He had some hybrid of tropical treat and something else. He had some Shishkaberry cross, if I remember. I would have to.
I remember very
Yeah, okay. I've put
little
the
bit, little
magazine
bit.
in the
It
bottom
was
of the box, but I had a couple things that I've looked in it, and one of the company I was curious if anyone have seen something of General G. He was in the maritime, like the East Coast. I don't know if it was New Brunswick or Nova Scotia that the guy was, but the guy company was General G, and he had a couple line of Afghani that he was working, and they were all short flowering and pure Afghani stuff. He had three line of it, and I was looking at that, being like, "Holy crap! I wish I had ordered those line back then. because I've never heard of it after after the magazine when there was ad in it. But I've heard of some people talking of that, but they were like, "Yeah, I'm not breeding anything. I don't know about them. I've smoked it, whatever. I've heard of it. Somebody who had it in the East Coast, but it was like, yeah, where those seeds went, man? That can have cell seeds in it, and I've seen some, the early Bramble. I don't know if you
You've
remember
come
that,
a
but
long way from this. You've said like
no, wait a minute. That thing, there's something to be said. Most of those weed were harvested too early,
way early.
okay? And they were grown in some weird condition. But when
Man, but
Coot has
how many
said
times
about
did we get
the
that shit in a dime bag and that was the only fire you had and that's what you had and that's what got you high
yeah,
and
look
that
at the
was
Colombian
fucking
gold,
great.
okay? The picture that I've seen of some people that had picture of their Colombian gold over here was looking better than that, and it was
Yeah,
from
no.
brickweed. So I'm sorry,
Yeah, but
guys,
I got
but you
better
had
brick
really
weed than
bad
that my
one.
whole life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the tie doesn't look like I don't know. Maybe it could have been finished, but a small. But there's just the
Number three,
bottom.
that looks like the Oaxacan I grew, but mine
Yeah,
was
yeah,
lower
it looked
for
like
sure.
a good weed on that one, the number
That
three.
one was
Like the yeah, well, yeah, the
look at how
picture are
thin the
pretty
tie is.
bad.
That tie is tiny and thin.
But the tie looked like there was some string. Like it been. Yeah, it looked like a tie stick. We see kind of stick on it, so it may be that. But the tie on the number 8, it looked
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
branch. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it's tie. Yeah, it could be tie also. Like they tie it around. Like you see a kind of string on it.
that Hawaiian looks number 14 looks sun dried. A lot of them look sun dried. That Colombian gold in number 9 definitely sun dried.
But what make me think it's kind of funny is that number 15 Colombian gold
Yeah.
really looked like if I had forget my plant under the sun, so I
Oh
could
yeah.
trust it's
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, the thing is, apparently the Colombian gold, you know what barbering is? They would, apparently they would take the stalks and they would shave off the bark off the stalks of their cannabis plants live in the field, and they would let them dry like that in the sun. So they would
But yeah.
bleach out and they'd come that golden color.
But
But
another
it
thing that
also made it taste like fucking hay. So
yeah,
like
but
that's why Coot has no room in his
in Colombia, yeah,
for Colombian. And like meanwhile, on the other hand, you'll get like somebody like Breeder Steve, right? Who's like, oh man, that was the
I
fire of my
had
day. That was some
yeah,
of the best shit I ever had. And I'll be honest, I've had some great Colombian gold and I've had some fucking terrible Colombian gold. But that was
I,
something I had a lot of access to in the Caribbean.
yeah, because the yeah, I did not have that many shit of Colombian or whatever, but I know some guy here that had some Mexican line, and they were different from each other, but um, they were really nice effect and different taste. But at one point, it's hard to trace what they were or where they were really from or whatever. But what I found cool is that other people that went in those same region have tasted again. So it wasn't like a one event, whatever. They were like, no, no, yeah. When I went in that place, I've smoked that shit, man. It's maybe a local line, but we just don't know about it, or maybe even them don't know. They just share the seeds with each other. But yeah, one of them was having that a, a, a smell and an effect that made me think that if you cross it with a kind of skunky Afghani, you had the skunk. So that's when I started to believe what was in the magazine about the skunk. It's like, yeah, there's a taste of it. I don't know much about the Colombian, but I was like, I know about the Afghani, I know about that Mexican line. I can believe if you cross those two together, you could end up with that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember. I remember. I was man. This. I remember getting in the fucking truck with this guy I was working with, and fucking. I remember being like, man, did this truck get sprayed by a skunk or something? Like, man, this stinks in here. And he kind of laughed, but he didn't say anything. And we go out. We're doing our work. And we set up these GPS receivers, and like it was back in the day, so they had to cook for like hours. Then they had to sit for like 4 hours, and we just had to sit there and watch them, right? So he's like, hey, like, you want to try this? He pulls out a tube, and he like fucking places it up and passes. And I got so fucking high. I was damn, I love this gunk. This is fabulous. Everything I was looking for. I was high.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things that I think that
That's probably
a
the
lot
first
of the
indica I
line.
ever got too. That's probably the first indica I ever smoked.
Oh, but what I think about skunk is
It's a, is it you think it's
the
what?
most thin leaf hybrid that I've had ever. That was the best skunk I had. Like that was a short plant with the quick flowering and some trait of resinous, whatever, of some of indica, but like that was really like a short sativa plant, way more charged than a sativa plant could be, maybe, and quicker, and like all the good trait of some indica, let's say, were infused in it. But I remember that as not being like for me, it's never been something like a more than a standard. With the blueberry, there's the Patriot. It's big harvest. It's not the best taste, but you always get a lot more of it through time because it resists better through the winter and stuff like that. But you should have other type of blueberry that will taste better and whatever. You know what I mean? It's like it was your sure bet. And if you were growing skunk indoor, I guess you were sure to be able to pay your bill and have some good weed to smoke because most of the plant were high quality beside some other line that you had to search in it. Once in a while, you had a fucking good plant, and maybe you were too dumb to cross it with his brother and keep the line good. And that's what the critic have heard of a lot of those older breeder that they're like, why you guys always talk about that and that and that? You've not did any work to preserve it, and now you miss it. Why the fuck you
that's
taste?
a
It's
that's a good point. I never really had access to it, but that's a fucking good point. I mean, I
But
did need
that's my point too. When you get busted with something really good, okay, what you do after? You're gonna reach your friend maybe? But your friend, what they did with it? They put it in the drawer and being like, "Oh yeah, man, it's their shit. I don't want to give it to anyone." But they do nothing with it, and it just get too old and die off in your fucking shelf. So there's a lot
that's
of that
that's
that
true.
people don't
That's
put the
true.
effort for that.
That's
For a
true.
reason or not, but they just don't put the effort and the time and the knowledge they don't have, or they don't give it to anyone that have it the ability to do it. So for me, just trying to research on those older breed and maybe being able to preserve at least a portion of the population that will be good quality off of it. Well, cool. But at the same time, good quality make me think that we may lose some good trait that may be useful, but for the common user, it's not because they don't even identify that trait as being useful in that line, whatever. Oh, that plant, I will get rid of it. It doesn't get me as high than another one, but maybe if I smoke it, my pain will go away, or maybe it will just allow me to eat properly and sleep properly. Yeah, now we can identify better what is in it. I think that's now the why it's important to go revisit those older line and being able to preserve them in place where we can do it. Here, I cannot do anything of it. And even then, if I could, the market
Yeah,
is not
well,
there.
that's
I
because
would
you
have
live in
to
the
invest
that's because you
everything
live in the worst
myself.
province in Canada. I'm sorry, buddy. Like that's the worst province.
Yeah, but the whole Canada doesn't have the really the market for that. You
Oh,
know, if I would do that research like that, Chimera like Ryan Lee do some research that touch to those points that I'm talking of, and I've not discovered those points all by myself. It's by following some of those guys, but I had some theory about what could be good to research, but I did not know all the science behind it. And when I've heard some of those guys talking of it a few years after, was like, did they put some concept in my head at one point, or did I discover it myself? I'm not sure anymore. But yeah, yeah, I just really think that we should research a lot more because just being high from it is really not my main point of maintaining a line. If I'm not talking about getting the best plant of your stuff to put in production, whether you keep a mother, talking really of some of the phenotype in your line may contain stuff that will be more useful, and we may be able to enphase those traits by breeding toward that if we know what it is and what to do with it. But before, the only thing was, is it productive? Does it taste good? Did I feel good with it? Is it adapted to my climate? And if you have those 4 points already in it, you're fucking jackpot, man.
and then all of a sudden, we were yelling, "Hey, do you have something that doesn't smell at all, so they can't find me, please?" Like,
Yeah.
and I need to keep a low profile.
Because that's one of the things. I remember one of my friend was like, dude, that fucking weed that we're calling Kabul Baba was greasy as fuck. And we're smelling like tar and black ash, like that, like kind of really dark smell, if I can say. It wasn't, anyway, but the plant was big, huge nog, and quite flat top. I don't know how. That was the most funny. When the plant was starting to flower, it wasn't really stretching that much the top, and everything was growing outward. I've seen it a couple times in
Oh yeah,
other strain, but like
Was it donkey dicks everywhere?
not
Like, or no?
no 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 but it was like a really calyx with leaf and calyx into each other and kind of string of it, if I can say, but really chunky flower. And the top was just finishing at one point. It's kind of getting fat and having tower on the side, and then whoop, it just go larger, and there's absolutely like nothing on tip of the bud. It looked like if you've just pinched at the top and it just grow outward, and the plant was just more. If you were vegging it long enough, it was doing like the side branch were going larger. But if you're like planting some from seeds a bit late in the season, you just had a fat top with a couple 4 or 5 good nog on the side. But anyway, that line was straight from Kebu, but was one of those really dark shit that it's really greasy. And the guy was that had bring it was like, man, that shit is really hard to make ash with it because how greasy it is. But if you want to get a lot of bud and have something that will melt you on the couch, that thing is sedative. So we're like, oh man, that's great. It's sedative, man. We're gonna be knockout with that shit. We're like, we're not necessarily chasing the best quality high because we did not really knew all the different type. We're just smoking shit and being super high at that age. What you got there?
I'm just finding old pictures.
Purple part with the release, undeveloped, okay taste, but where's the high? Couldn't smoke it. Look at bizarre. The one on the side right looked good. Okay, Bud was fantastic looking. Looked like it could have been the winner if delivered cured. Yeah, it looked like a bit early and shit. Amazing color, but not ready to smoke. A bit harsh. Green too wet.
uh,
Bottom right, it
We're
looked like some
close.
outdoor stuff. Burned badly, not well cured, harsh smoke, low quality. Oh, that one five looked not that bad. Small undeveloped buds, sticky, seeded. Ah, man, are you getting the first cannabis cup there?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
88. I think it's the first.
88? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 88. Yeah.
man, I know those.
I did not know that was the first year of the cannabis cup.
You can't find the skunk and the stuff like that when yeah, you can't find it on that page. I
Oh,
remember those.
now we're gonna have to deep dive 1988 cannabis. I mean, the year that it really mattered.
Yeah, I had those magazines.
Ah, see here, 1988. I up Northern Lights 5 times Skunk number 1 with prize, mostly indica.
Yeah, put your mic a bit closer.
Oh,
So.
sorry. Uh, yeah. So 1988 Northern Lights 5 times Skunk number 1 wins first prize, most indica category. Uh, Strain was later renamed Diva Skunk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? I the guy that I've seen growing that the last time had old seeds, whatever, and when you've grown it, I was like, holy shit! Like some were really more Northern Light and more columnar, more skunk. But by just looking at the plant, you were able to say like, yeah, that's those from back then, whatever, you know. And when you talk about the skunk outdoor, the skunk phenotype in that Shiva skunk are later. So even if some of them may have some good structure and good production, whatever, they start to flower later. So it may be a bit of a more complicated
And
project to
when I
have.
say skunk, I want to say that I don't mean skunk number 1. Like I want to make that over
No,
like
I mean, yeah, you mean the whole
abundantly clear.
general
It's
type of
not
skunk.
it's
Yeah.
not skunk number 1 by any. Skunk number 1 is almost shouldn't be called skunk number 1 because it's almost a sweeter smell. Like
Yeah, yeah, the skunk number one is a sweet version.
there's nothing skunk about it. Skunk I'm talking about.
When I was younger, we were talking about the Amsterdam skunk.
Yeah.
Like for us, there was no need to say skunk number one because it's not number one if it's Amsterdam skunk. But I don't want to say bad about what David Watson did because I'm pretty sure there's some good shit that you can be found. I just don't have the passion, the space, or the
Well,
interest to dig
I
into that
think
line.
I think it's very time capsulated weed. I think it is skunk number 1 fit the time because skunk number 1 answered the problem to the fucking stinkiness of the skunk. So like you were getting what you
Yeah.
wanted skunk and it was
No, yeah. No, no. Because
evading
the
detection at the same time. And key to why that became the skunk of the time, and now that seems to be the skunk that's left.
because the stuff that I when I see some people in England showing some exotus or
Oh
some
yeah, but dude, people
cheese
in
and stuff
England,
like that,
dude, all
honestly,
the
I see
everybody I knew from
exactly what I
England
was
called
having back then.
every weed skunk. Didn't matter.
No, okay, no, but the
Like
real
it's
skunk that
like
they have,
over there, we like if they say skunk, they just mean weed. They don't
they
mean
just
skunk.
mean good
They
weed. That's
just mean
I
weed.
know
They just mean good weed. That's it. Like there's
that
no
I
fucking.
know the stuff in the news. It's like that new strain of marijuana called skunk, and it's like, dude, it's 40 years ago. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Oh man, that's
40
that's
years
their
ago,
slang
you're
fucking weed over there. Like that's it. And they
like
make a way too big of a deal of it.
the big time of skunk was the earlys, the 80s, like end of 70s it started, but the 80s and the early 90s. After that, nobody was thinking was like they were making hybrid with skunk for the productivity, for the stuff like that, have a better quality general of it, because it was higher THC in general in those line. But a bit like the Northern Light, like everything was crossed with Northern Light to have a better quality in general. That's a smoky
Agreed.
picture. But okay, the thing that I'm thinking with the some of the Afghan line that I knew were not that bad. Well, most of those line were
Well,
really 20
well,
years into breeding before you can find more good quality more often in it, but it was always there and they had to dig into it and
well,
to be like,
Afghan
okay,
number
that one I
one
will
was
find.
Af- Afghan number one was such an outlier from what you found in the stuff. So the people that kept the Afghan number one cut had a super high THC variant
Yeah.
of it from the beginning. And you're
But
right, there
Afghan
was
number one, if you
you
plant a lot of seeds of that in the late 90s, okay? I don't know now. I won't talk about what they did now, but late 90s, if you had enough seeds of Afghan number one, it wasn't bad to plant from seeds,
there.
but
Uh,
you were not finding all the plant that good. You
I
know,
used to get some Afghan one that I still think is some of the strongest weed I ever fucking
some were
grew.
really
Like
good in it, but
it was the guy that I knew had a really good cut, and it was some of the most narcotic weed
but
I ever smoked. Like
you know,
it,
one of the
but it
reason
was couch fire.
why they were more similar in the Afghan one, it's because it started with 6 seeds. So give him a break on on homogeneity, this and that. No, he just been able to get enough good plant from this batch of seeds to be
That
able
tells me you were
to
lazy if you
select.
could only get 6 seeds. Like, come on.
Yeah, I won't describe some story. I'll shut up on that one. But yeah, 6 seeds, man, you could have done better for sure. Yeah,
Not the biggest pheno hunt, but
yeah.
pretty
The last
amazing.
story,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to find 1 out of 6. Really,
yeah, the last story I've got told is someone we know that he sent seeds to someone and the guy when he had it, he had 3 or 4, 500 seeds. The guy was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna go in prison." The other was like, "I wanted to just make you like something, yeah, worth it. Whatever you'll be able to dig into those line, and I don't know what the fuck, man. Stop panicking. You don't have police at your door because you have the
did
seeds
they
in your
show up
possession.
with the package?
No, he sent it,
Yeah,
and the guy did not know how much he was about to receive, but."
that's just damn right ungrateful.
But if you got, let's say, 100, 200 seeds of a line, if we're starting to dig into that, you may be saying, oh man, it's a lot of plant to smoke. Yeah, but we won't smoke all of them. Most of them will end up uh, maybe having a couple clone on the side, and they are not even finishing that we get rid of it. They let the bigger one take space and whatever. And like some of the small shit anyway, there's a lot of plant you get rid of when you really want to go through the line, and mostly if you're growing outdoor, there's all the plant that grow well. At the end of the season, that's when you start to really know what you're having.
That is 100% true. Everything grows really well at the start of the season when growing's easy, when competition's low, and you've prepared the spot for them and stuff. That's a hundred
And
percent
even,
true. And
yeah,
then
you may
and
get
then
rid of a
like
couple small runs,
then
but the
then like every couple storms you lose a couple. Some of them just die and succumb to wildlife. Slugs used to be a fucking pain in the ass for me. Slugs used to fuck with me no end, but then you
yeah, mostly
lay
when you're
down.
having a lot of seedling and the spring. Yeah, after the rabbit. Did you have a lot of rabbit over there?
Rabbits, I've had rabbit problems before. Rabbits, I always used to use mothballs to just keep the rabbits away. They keep mothballs will keep rabbits and deer away, but I don't. It's probably not good for the environment. Probably
A
should
good
use
air
them.
rifle works great for rabbits too.
Yeah, yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
man. I'm a little rabbit soup.
Oh man, I just think at something. I got a bottle of something. We're gonna since we talk of it, I go
Air,
get it.
air rifles are good because you can pick off one and then pick off his buddy shortly after, and you don't spook them all.
Man, I've been fighting with this squirrel all summer, and finally he decided he was gonna fucking start making a fucking nest up in one of my eaves, and I'm like, hell no, buddy, no, this ain't happening. So I went in and I grabbed my kid's slingshot and I grabbed like 4 stones, man, and I pegged his ass with fucking 2 out of the first 3.
You
Nothing
know that
seen since.
thing?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got bear and rabbit problem? Paint the stem with that.
Really.
Well, the
Uh,
with bears,
Everything in your garden, if you have any problem, what's funny is that that's a fungicide, in fact. If I remember, they say, but it's coot. Repellent for rabbit, mice, and deer. And
Pictures from work there.
if you use that produce, um, please protect yourself because you may feel a bit strange, mostly if you got drunk before or whatever. You may feel a bit strange if you have contact with that produce too much, but
it makes a
um,
terrible mixer with cocktails.
hmm. Yeah, don't use it instead of milky. I know it's kind of milky, but no. But that thing is, holy shit, what they say on the side of it. It's been years and years that I have it. I think it's like 10 years old and it's been used.
So what you do is you can get the beanbag rounds for your shotgun for bears, and you just hit them with a fucking beanbag, and it's like doesn't hurt them or cut them open at all or anything. It just is like getting punched. That works pretty well. I've used them on black bears back in Jersey.
Right, man, there's so much stuff right on it, but it's mostly like it's good for this and that and that and that. But I try to look at what exactly is in it. Oh, really, yeah, it's a bit dirty. I cannot read properly on it, but
I bumped into.
anyway, with that thing, if you're having, if you paint it on your stem and try to avoid the top shoot. And you may want to dilute it if you spray lightly on your leaf and like a couple big leaf, you may spray a tiny bit of that, but it may burn under the sun sometime. If you have too much concentration on a spot of the leaf, it may burn a bit few leaf. But what's good is by the time that the plants root, there's nothing that want to eat it. And when it get bigger and you have sometimes the rabbit or the deer that want to eat the bark, uh, well, you're able to paint with it. And I don't think it's systemic. That's what I was trying to search, but that's that was used as a fungicide before, if I remember, and they've ended up being you discover that it was kind of a repellent for mice and deer. But that's when we're working in landscape doing some roses and stuff like that. And at one point, though, we had trouble with the cedar tree being ate by the deer when there was a lot of snow in the wood, and all the small residential place around that wood had a lot of deer going to eat all their cedar tree. So we're just spraying that lightly on the cedar tree at fall, and just was drying there, and the deer was just tasting that and not coming back. All the neighbor around had deer, not that guy anymore. Uh, it it have cost him like I don't know, maybe $20 to buy a because my can is really old, but that was like $15 back then for a big can like that. And I was buying one every year to for anything like that. But the only problem is that, yeah, be careful when you use that. It's surely fungicide element in it. So, but what's your best tricks for slug? Do you have anything?
Slug. I used to use copper pipe or just snail bait. Like they sell slug and snail bait in the garden department. I used to find that. I used to just lay it down a barrier around the outer ring of the grow just to fucking stop them.
Yeah,
Get
I've
the keys.
looked.
So that's one of the things that they used to always look for you buying was that snail bait.
Yeah,
Make
I've
a lot
used
of
that.
cash.
Yeah, I've used that. But you need to go there if there's a lot of rain, maybe every 2 weeks, something like that, that you need to put back.
Yeah,
So
no, even if even every couple days if it's raining a lot. Absolutely.
yeah, but it was working to avoid problem a bit more, but it
Oh, no,
wasn't
it worked. It
eliminating
worked.
problem.
I thought it worked really well. I think it killed them, it stopped them. You'd find dead bodies all throughout there. Like no, yeah, no, they
I
were.
wasn't finding those dead one, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no,
I had a lot less problem with that. Yeah, but it's the problem that it's there's something that stay in the soil if you use a lot of it like that.
Oh,
So
agreed. It's probably fucking toxic as shit. It's probably terrible shit to be putting on the soil. No doubt. It's definitely a high amount of
I don't
copper.
think it
Sure.
will pass the new regulation for what
Probably
is
not.
in it, right? Yeah,
Probably not. No, it
because you
probably
use it
contain
in your
it.
garden.
It probably contains a lot of heavy metals. To be honest with you, I would assume that it contained copper at least. Like, I, I, I let's Google it here. See, we'll consult the book of knowledge.
Yeah, I'll try to see what is in slug bait. Slug bait ingredient. Vast majority of slug pellets contain metal metaldehyde. Metaldehyde look like formaldehyde. Uh, as,
Uh,
so
metal hal, metal halide. Sounds like metal halide, like we used to grow it. What the fuck?
metaldehyde.
Methaldehyde. Yeah, okay, sure.
I guess it's like a new
Matildehyde. Matildehyde.
It's a
Matildehyde.
new Norwegian
Matildehyde. I'm
metal
going with
band.
Matildehyde. That sounds legit. Uh, this is the active ingredient is most slug baits and snail baits. It is formulated in granule powder pellets, liquid protein rich materials such as bran and grain are usually added to the bait to make it more attractive to snails. Unfortunately, other animals find it palatable as a result. Snail
Look at
bait
the
toxic to your dog.
l- l- if you look at the 3D stuff of that molecule, that's really nice. It make me think at some of those really strange
Matildahyde or
molecules.
whatever, however the fuck you say it, Matildahyde is extremely toxic to your cats and dogs. So if you are growing outside and using snail bait, please protect. Or if you have a dumb dog.
It can disrupt the natural ecosystem. Thermal, drooling, vomiting. Okay. Mhm. So you're gonna know if your animal get it. Yeah. And you eat some of it. Ugh. Well, yeah, we don't see if it can be accumulated in the plant itself. Due to contamination of drinking water by metaldehyde used in agriculture, a specialist organization was established in 2008 called Metaldehyde Stewardship Group. Okay. Anyway, that's pretty much like the British say, "Oh, we're gonna ban it." Yeah, since 2022,
Yeah.
they've banned.
Which means
So
stock up on it now, boys.
no, it's already banned since 2 years in England. So I guess they need to resort to maybe copper wire. I've not used it, but I've seen a couple people trying that and they say it's not bad. Or if you
I
just get
see it.
those copper
Nail
wire
baits
that have a small
available.
string and you kind of chop it here and there to have all those spike going out and you lay it around your garden like a barbell stuff, doing the war against the slug and having your, yeah, I don't know. You can maybe take
Well,
some
you know what?
toothpick and make
You'll
those
be
cross like
happy to
that.
know.
And
You'll be happy to know that that snail bait is still available here in Canada. You can get it right off Amazon. There's like 6 different hits.
all right. I'm going to buy some slug bait tonight. Well, I still
Like
have some
make, nematodes for slugs.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
can't
the
use them.
wood, you go with your nematodes.
And the other thing you can do, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Quan Con Fam in episode 251 of Growing with Fishes, or it might have been a rot. I don't remember exactly who it was, but there was somebody around then
I was
that
definitely
had was doing this thing where they would take slugs, they take like a 5 gallon bucket or Rubbermaid tub and put it in the fill it like a third of the way with water, and then take
yeah.
a bunch of like plant material that they were feeding on and put it in the middle to make like an island. Maybe put like a little piece of foam or some other thing to give a little bit of buoyancy. So they're like isolated in the middle of the container.
Yeah.
Um, and then they would put like all the slugs they could find in there, and then basically they would like use them as like a private little prison for all the slugs, and then eventually you'll get some that have the nematodes on them that kill them, and then it like takes off like a zombie outbreak and like infects all of them, and then he would take those once he like realized a bunch of them were dying pretty quickly, and he would take them and then like put them in a blender and then shred them all and then apply that to like the base of the plants that he was using. And he said it worked
Yeah.
really well. I don't remember exactly who it was on my show that did. I think it was Quan Con Fem, but it might have been somebody else.
Yeah, I don't think it was ConCon Fem. I was there for ConCon Fem, and I don't remember him talking about that. But
I
I,
remember watching that episode live, and I remember that part when you say that, Steve. But yeah, so I don't. I okay. The first thing is that when we're doing that, we're more stressful, and I don't think it's the one of those things that was passing through my mind to kind of what fucking attack them in nature. Let's attract all those slug there until we got something that kill them and reproduce it. But that's a really nice strategy. I was just maybe it wasn't crossing my mind for it was too stressful for this stuff.
I imagine if you have a fucking slug problem too, you could use them for IMO too.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it's basically the same thing.
But one thing that one of my friend that had garden bed, he was really pissed off about how much slug there was in the spring when when you plant everything that's cold hardy in the spring. And he had a couple stuff that he had preserved through the winter under kind of blanket and some mulch, whatever. And the first thing that was going to kill everything as soon that it was starting to get warmer and the slug were going out, they were all going on those small seedling and the cold hardy vegetable like that. And he found out that if he took a PVC pipe and broke some glass. All the glass he was able to find, like, and my dad was having a place where he was working. There was a container with all the the glass they were going to ditch. So my friend went there and collected all, like there's a lot of window glass that have all those really small particulate, like if you have a uh, those sliding door with just a, what do you call that model of door? I don't remember the name, but the big sliding door that you have, let's say, to go on your balcony. Uh, those door, that glass, if you just pinch the corner, everything shattered like a window car, you know. So a car window. So you're gonna get all those small broken stuff, but with your car, you have a small film on that hold it together so that it doesn't shatter in your face right away if it break. But for your door, it doesn't have that stuff. But you have a small layer in between of gas and a kind of plastic in between, but you still have those two pieces of glass that if you throw it in the container, it just a blanket of small glass pieces. And after a while, they get rounder. But my friend was filling that all PVC pipe in his bed with that, and he had no more problem of any slug. He was just saying, oh, after a while they get less sharp, so you need to maybe add a bit more. But just the fact that he had a all PVC pipe,
Huh.
some he did not had filled them yet with broken glass, and the slug were getting trapped in it. They were not able to climb back. So maybe if you have just off pipe, it's not the same thing. But what he did was just cutting maybe the third top of it. So that worked for him, but it's just good for the garden bed. You won't do that if you're on the ground. But yeah, broken glass was one of the things that we were thinking that it could put a fire in your new garden if you have it on the ground. And even you need to be careful because if the sun bake on that broken glass on the PVC pipe and you have some mulch on the side, just that go on it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it could get a fire at one point. Well, I've seen broken glass starting fire, so that's why. When it's really really hot.
Like a magnifying glass kind of deal.
Yeah, that's exactly the effect it's doing. Yeah. It just start a small spark and yeah, it just go on the ground for a while sometimes. The mulch itself catching fire. Where I've seen it was a small prairie part where people were going to party and stuff, and sometimes they were just throwing some empty bottle of rum and whatever. Uh, yeah, at one point the grass is just catching fire. There was nobody there when it have happened. So it was the weirdest part. Like people were like, "Holy crap! It must be someone that did a fire." When there, no, there was no pit fire burning, whatever. Was it that? So yeah, just being careful with the broken glass. But I think the slug bait, if you always use it, it will get into your soil and contaminate your plant at one point. I'm pretty sure it's probably not the safest thing for the. I would like to know what the LP are doing here, but from what I've seen, uh, they don't seem to worry the most about slug. And there's some place that they still plant from seeds. But the only place I've talked with people that work it there, they were in BC. So I don't know if they have different type of problem there than they have here. But I don't know, man. The only thing I remember is there's some place where even in the backyard of my friend or some part of the wood, you're gonna get invaded by slug in that area and not that other one. So it's really localized kind of problem, but slug were really a big problem at spring. Even a bit later in the year, sometimes they were just climbing on the plant, and you think they do nothing till they eat all the top of your plant.
Oh, dude, anything their meniscus trail touch, kills. Like, that's it.
Oh man,
They like that.
that thing
Yeah,
have
no, that
happened to me at one
the
point.
slime on them is completely toxic to plants in every way, shape, and form. No, anything they touch, they kill. That's it. It just fucking
Yeah,
they
I've seen
start
some
digesting
slide
it.
where it was doing nothing, but there was a moment where I remember every trace that I've seen was a trace of death, like you just said.
Oh, dude,
I don't know
anything
if
they
it's a
touch,
type of slug that is worse for
maybe
that, but I remember that.
big ass gray. Fuck those fuck.
Oh, but there was a
Whatever. So
lot of those
apparently
orange.
ducks are the best way to actually get rid of them because like ducks will eat like every slug that they can find and they'll eat all
Not
day every
not
day.
all type, but
No, really?
no, I'll show you one that is quite ugly here, but it been imported from England by some window.
It was
Uh,
actually Dutch Bloom that told
that he
that
had
was
some
he had ducks that fucking were apparently just mowing the slugs.
because there was some orange, bright orange slug and some yellow slug in my area for a while, but then I worked in a place where they had a big trouble of those. I'll try to find a picture of that. It's a big invasive slug from England.
And Tiga got infested with these like giant like Chinese fucking snails, like giant African snails are brought, but they were brought in. They literally have no predator. They just fight and fight fucking battle because they have no predator. They're huge,
Yeah,
kill everything they touch.
the one I'm talking of, it can be like a couple inch long. It's really uh, disgusting one. I'll try to find exactly the one that that's a black slug from England. Um, crap, I don't see exactly the same here. Pretty sure I'll find that, but okay, it's Arion attar. It's just native to Europe. Oh no, okay, no, it's not exactly the same, but anyway, I've yeah, okay, I just found a video here. They are just really big, long, black slug that, and I think I've seen like more than 6 inch long. Maybe I would not be surprised to see that they could be up to 10-inch long. Uh, they are really, really disgusting. Because first, there is absolutely nothing here that eat them. Because they are not, they have like a kind of smell to them, and the other slug don't have it, whatever. Um, the bird don't like it. There's nothing here that really ate that type of slug, and I don't remember what is in England that still regulate it, but that's one of those that should have never came here because it was just stuck on some window of uh, an hospital here and a university when they've built it, and now everyone that worked there, it climb on their car, and at one point they realized that they have an invasion in their backyard of that black slug, and you need to find where they lay egg, and you can get rid of it at one point, but you really need to go for it, you know. You cannot just let it go like that. So yeah, that's one of the slug that I don't know what I could do with it. That's a small one right there. That's really a small one. You see the hair on it?
Yeah,
Is it a hair?
Just
Look like it.
just remember, never eat slugs.
I don't want to eat slug.
Is this like how did you come about this knowledge? Was my first question.
Uh,
And what did they do to you?
Sam Ballard, an Australian rugby player, was visiting Northern California and his buddies with
Oh
his
mate, blimey, I'll eat that shit.
and ate a banana slug and got a parasite that rat lungworm disease from parasite in the banana slug, and it paralyzed him, and
Well,
then he was in a coma for like a bunch of months, and then he died.
rat,
Like, that shit's
wait,
fucking serious.
rat.
Oh, did he had the parasite from the slug and the
Yeah,
snail?
yeah, he
Yeah.
got parasite from the slug. So
I
like they're
don't know
not
if they share the
poisonous
same.
themselves, but they carry like a lot of slugs and snails carry like really fucked up parasites for humans. Also look up schistomiasis. That's another one. Schisto is like another one that you can get from snails and slugs, and like you can get that from fucking pond snails. Like you just go into a pond or a
But
lake
that
in Africa and other
but
parts of the world, and fucking you can get schistomiasis, which is like fucking really bad.
that's the name I remember of that parasite that the snail can have, and I was finding snail really cute until I realized that they could kill me with that parasite. So and now I just wait till there's just a shell laying on the ground, empty, whatever, and I pick them and put them in my pots as a decoration, but I no
Yeah,
longer want to have any of them around when they're alive. I
yeah, it
just throw
fucks
them
up
outdoor.
your intestines, and it fucks up your urinary tract, and like makes your fucking bladder all fucked up, and
Yeah, wash
it's
your
bad,
hand and
man. But yeah, it's
yeah.
in Africa, Caribbean, South America, Middle East, Asia, kind of like anywhere in the tropics.
Thing.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I know a lot of people that eat snail, and one of them was like finding it in his backyard in France and being like, "Oh yeah, there's no problem." I'm like, "Why don't you want to kind of raise them and being sure they are free of parasite?
Well, you get it
Could
from
be
like
done, you know."
you usually get it from bad water, or like when they don't clean stuff proper, and there's like some of the leftover river water or whatever else around, or if you're swimming, you can eat it. But what's crazy is like some people are like immune to it, like their body like has no symptoms, even though it's like full blown in their system. But it's a flatworm. But yeah, it's just a weird thing. But it's like, especially if you're traveling in Africa, like it's a thing.
Dang.
Yeah, martial artists say they have a lot of slug environment. Um,
Another reason to hate them.
well,
Oh wait, can you screen share on? Oh, can you turn screen share on?
Oh, sorry, I've been
you're off.
sharing all night. Oh, hold on.
But
I don't think I've ever
environment is
seen
just
Wes's hair before tonight. He's always had it tied down or in a hat or something.
Usually, because that fucking terrible widow's peak I got going on. Top.
So ask me for like an IPM thing. I built a new database for IPM. So um, throw an IPM thing at me or ask me a question, bug problem or mold or whatever.
okay.
Hmm.
What you do for the phytum transmit by bugs? Is it phytum or it's phytum or fusarium? One or the other. It's
Ethereum.
transmit for with by bugs and just everything die at one point. Just die from the roots, right? What you do for fusarium?
Hold on. I don't know what the fuck the problem is. 1 second.
Yeah.
I don't know why that glitched.
The trips are one that found that were transmitting some disease. When I have a big infestation of trips, there's some stuff that just die from the roots. Like they get attacked, and at one point the plant just don't it cannot survive whatever, and the roots are just dying itself. Of finding it quite strange at first because it was like, oh man, it's not the trips that have killed it. The plant was still alive and having a couple of leaf all good, and no, mostly stuff like lettuce, bok choy, like the leafy green. Uh, they are more vulnerable when they are young. Even the dill, I had some dill, and the trips just went on the dill like nothing, man. And some seeds started like maybe a week or 10 days after that,
Yeah.
and those seeds have not been killed totally. They've been able to grow, but it was like holy crap, 2/3 of my seeds just got eaten by the trips. Everything, the dill, bok choy, everything.
See, there you go. You can see it lists BB, but also like three other general aphid killing fungi. Yeah, has beneficial, Aphidellus clymene, Aphidilles, Aphomyza. So yeah, it's like really good. I'll be releasing this soon. I've been working on the back end of this quite a bit. And if you guys got a question, like, give me something to throw at it. I've been
How do
working
you
on.
get rid of fucking thrips?
Honestly, trips is something that we had no problem with it before.
They're-
I
yeah.
would say it's the last 10 years that I see it more and more. But before that, I never had any problem of trips. Like when I started to do some gardening, there was a lot of spider mite trouble. A lot more spider mite than I see now. The last time I had
See,
spider
I
mite,
never
I've
see,
got rid of
see
it in a week.
out
I
here.
was recommending. Go
So
ahead.
much spider mite. There's so much spider mite in nature out here that like it doesn't matter. Like it's never going away out
So it's
here.
saying Cucumaris and Insidious or Pirate Bugs, Aureus. And then BB, Iceria, beneficial nematodes.
Yeah, but what they don't tell you is pirate bugs fucking bite you. Pirate bugs are
Yeah,
fucking
well, they do, but
dick.
like, I don't know. I've only been bit one time and I've used them a
I
bunch.
don't know. I
Just one
literally
of the other
come out
things,
of I'm like, "Ah!"
this one, this one in particular, is a newer product. It's like Bavaria Bastiana. But that one actually does work on thrips as well, in particular. It's like thrips and aphids are the two things it's mainly used for. Um, Lecanicilium lacani. There's another one as well, Lecanicilium. There's two different species of this fungus that are now available in products form. But that's the other one that I would personally recommend. But PFR 97 works pretty good at smashing them down. It won't get them to zero, but it'll get rid of like most of them if you have it, which is Iceria fumiceraceae. Where is it here? This one, Iceria. This is another one that, again, you use that with nematodes. Like you need to use a couple different controls, but if you use a combo, it works pretty well. Thrips were the one thing that we never got to zero in Thailand. Like we were able to eliminate everything else except for thrips because they fucking blow in the wind. Like they'll
Yeah.
literally like just get airborne when the wind get like that's when we noticed was like a day after a
They're
windstorm.
so small as
Find them
well.
again
I mean,
scouting, yeah.
Well,
And they'll like
I've
those
slow
realized
down
at
dash
one
and shit.
point they were jumping on my clothes, I'm pretty sure. And when I was going inside, just have started to remove my clothes, going in and get another, the other clothes and taking a shower to be sure I don't have any in my hair. And yeah, I had to be really, really careful if I wanted to avoid it completely. Mostly, I would say beginning of summer and at fall, right now we're pretty much in another period where they seem to thrive when it's not the more hot condition, but yeah, I don't know. They have their cycle, I would say, 2 times a year that they get worse, spring and fall. But like in my vine right now, I got a bunch of trips, so yeah, just going to get a couple of grape and I may have some trips on me.
On a separate rant, I keep ripping my pants this week. I've ripped 2 fucking sets of pants, just like trying to maneuver over shit and just rip the crotch wide open.
You know, there's
I don't know if I'm getting fat or what.
okay, there is some pants that you have the stretching cloth in the middle. I don't know if the Big Bill were like that. I don't remember. I've bought some of them. I don't remember what's the brand, but yeah, between the leg
If
it's kind of stretchy. So yeah, you don't break it anymore.
if anyone in chat has wants me to run anything through the AI too, I'm happy to. Again, I don't mind taking a few curveballs. I kind of want some, but we're working it. How do I control slugs? What will the almighty computer say? So they're recommending a nematode, iron phosphate, Bavaria bassiana. That's
Iron
interesting. I
phosphate
think
is
that one's
easy to
wrong.
get.
As BB does not work on those. Maybe it does, but I don't know. I've never heard of BB working on it. I think we stumped it there on that one.
Yeah,
That one's
well,
wrong.
iron phosphate is something that people can get really easily at the hardware, whatever, at the farmer place, you know.
I'm saying copper tape has enough of an electrical charge to keep them off. DE, beer
Oh, the
traps,
copper tape.
ducks or chickens. And ducks work great for that. That I can speak of. Ground beetles. Yeah, that's one thing I wish we could find a way to like bulk out tiger beetles and like purchase them. That would be awesome, but I think they murder each other during shipping.
The iron phosphate is the only one I've never tried. How do
I
city
don't
use
think
it?
I've heard of this species before. I mean, clearly I have because it's in the AI, but I don't know what product it is. Products. Okay, so it's sold under Nemoslug.
So you see, you should not assume the gender of a slug because it got both.
Well, yeah, they stab each other with their penises.
The
and
romantic
that's
way to
pretty much
tell it.
that's love. That's love.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
I've
stabbing each
never
other.
tried to stab anybody with mine, but you know,
I guess you've never truly loved Bowden.
Mine is,
apparently not.
mine is pretty blunt, and I don't think it will work too. Yeah.
maybe maybe I have. I guess I did end up with a munchkin.
Do you have a sharp head or what?
So here's their product. Oh yeah, this is the one in the UK. We had to fucking like roundabout order this shit to a grow I was working on in the States once. It was fucking annoying. But yeah, I could have swore there was a place to order it in the US. Hold on. Oh, it's on Amazon. Reportedly? I don't fucking know. No. What the fuck? It lists it here. Huh. Well, I don't know then.
No, it's a live beneficial nematode on yeah, you got it. 50 million. And you got the other one that is on the right
This is
at
triple threat.
17.
That's different.
No, but the one on the
Different
right was
nematode. This
looking.
is
No, okay.
species wise. I mean, we'll double check, but
Oh.
what's the species? Yeah, this is another good way to control these triple threats like these guys are really good for tick control for ticks. One of the only things you can use. But somewhere on here it should list the species. If they don't, that's kind of shitty. I'm assuming this is the same as triple threat. Looks like it. Stray through this Fernelli or whatever it is the SF. Hold on, I can pull it up on the. Does this one have it? Maybe. It's just weird they don't list the species anywhere. Like, it's a biocontrol. You should fucking list the species. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. Straternella corpocraceae, Heteroroba verdius. I don't know, it's obviously I'm slaughtering these names, but there you go. Yeah, these are good. 50 million.
So with all
You can
those
count them
good
yourself.
all those good products, one thing that it's always good is to like the tips you described it with the your buddy that if discover himself the weapon against them in his garden by a lot of observation, like really looking at what happened, what can kill it. Uh, the other day I was looking just making some cleaning some stuff and I've seen a bug that had some trace of mushroom, whatever that invaded. I was like, oh, do I have that card step? And I was looking at it. Ah, no, I guess it's another one. But I wish I could have preserved it when it was like freshly happened, because that one was just bone dry, and I've just kind of cracked the insect in half and looking with a small loop. But yeah, if I find a cordyceps in a bug that I got trouble with, I don't know if I can reproduce it and kind of inoculate my pots with it, you know. So every bugs that go in it will be attacked by the cordyceps. I would wish for. That's one of the thing. Like I don't know if it worked like that for the cordyceps. I don't know how long it take. I don't remember looking at it, but when I was looking at that phenomenon, they were saying each bugs got a type of cordyceps that will attack them. It's a tiny
Yeah.
bit different from each of them. So that's when I was like, okay, so I really need to target it more efficiently. That bugs that I got trouble, find the cordyceps. It's kind of a really cool thing. I've seen a post on Instagram of a guy that work with mushroom and he's been able to reproduce it and reproduce the experience again by using that bugs. But y- yeah, it take a lot of time to just collect again the same bug, raise it in a small vivarium, and infect it. and take a couple picture.
You know,
The
it's
guy is
crazy.
putting a
Like
lot of effort.
some of the cordyceps have unique psychedelic compounds. There's a friend of mine, Cass, who I've had on the show before. She does a lot of mushroom products and mushroom stuff, and they mix lion's mane with cordyceps. She said she had like this incredibly powerful psychedelic experience, and there's like not it wasn't psilocybin, it was something else, and they're not. It's one of those like hasn't been mapped out yet, or like not well understood. But
Or what do that they don't know yet. Yeah. But what was that cordyceps from?
I don't know. I'm assuming it was like Militaris or something like that, but I could be wrong. I'd have to ask her. She talked about it on the one episode, I think, if I'm choosing it correctly, when
Yeah,
she was on with Chris.
that's one really interesting. Well, when I tried to dig a bit on the mushroom that attack insect and how it could be beneficial and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, there's all the nematode, all the bugs that will like lay egg into the other, and but the mushroom part, if you inoculate your area with it, will you be able to use it as a weapon? Because the Bavaria Bassiana work if you spray it all over like that. But if I target just one type of bugs and I inoculate my plants all over with it and my soil, that will be my idea. But oh, in Canada, the Bavaria Bassiana, we cannot order that. We cannot order the what was
Wait,
the produce
Bavaria
from
isn't
Monterey.
fucking allowed in Canada anymore? I thought it used to
Well,
be.
you can get it if you get your permit from for a pesticide and fungicide, like if you got an orchard or a big field. But if you're a small gardener at home, you cannot do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I tried to get some produce and being like, well, I want to do stuff on with bees, and I'm trying to see what I can do with this and that, and we're like, no, you cannot use it. Okay, well, too bad. I won't do the test on it, but I was trying to figure out, can I? I guess there's more smart people that tried that, but I was trying to think like, can I inoculate some hive with a type of mushroom that will keep my bees more healthy, or being like feeding them those shroom like what the Paul Stammet was working on. He was working on a mix of different mushroom that was keeping the bees more healthy and avoiding some bad symptom for the varroa. But my problem was like, okay, if the bees are eating that, can I just have it in the hive itself instead of feeding it to my bees? Because I need to bring all those ingredients together and make it myself or buy that produce. You know, it's a lot of trouble. If I can have it there, that they have access to it all the time without me having to tend to it, you know. So I was like, well, it could be interesting to have, let's say, something in the hive that will be inoculate and providing protection to the bees or getting at least helping to get them more healthy. But I don't know. Uh, the part that I found more hard, it's like there's no nematode for the varroa, and the varroa are a bit like the bug bed that it just looks like a small crab that will lay on the so close that y- you got trouble to pick them, you know. So just like a shell of a crab that really have short leg and can grip and have his leg under the shell like that. So it's really, yeah, really hard to get rid of it. So yeah, if there is no nematode that go in it, I'm like, must have some type of mushroom in the natural environment where they are from in Asia. Because the giant bees, they don't have as much trouble with the varroa. They defend themselves differently, but we don't raise giant bees that for beekeeping that much. It's more like wild stuff that they go collect the frame in nature. Like
I think
I know in
I
Vietnam they
think
have
Wu-Tang
some like that.
I
Nepal,
think Wu
Vietnam, Asia. Sorry.
I think Wu-Tang tried to raise the killer giant bees. It didn't work out. God, like nobody really on that one. All right. Apparently it was terrible.
Wu Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
You know, when people talk about the mad honey, it just it's a rhododendron species that have it. But thinking it's in Turkey that they have the a species of rhododendron that have that compound also, and you have it in Nepal and Asia also. But uh, when the Roman were trying to invade there, uh, a lot of food have been left over, some honey, some wine that was sweetened with that mad honey. And that was some of the oldest report of soldier getting really incapacitated by that honey. Uh, some of them were just fainting, some were having trouble to walk, and you know they were just out of their mind for a while. Is it that mad honey?
I have some somewhere. I don't know if it's in Tennessee in my storage unit or with me here. I still haven't unpacked shit yet, but I'm kind of leaving everything packed until we move to the other spot. But I have some Manuka honey.
Is
It's
the
from
manuka is the same than the?
yeah, it's made from rhododendron nectar.
Yeah, okay. Melon, giant honeybees.
Yeah,
The talk, yeah, Nepal and Turkey. Okay, yeah, they say the same. Oh, it's the Greek, the first. The Yeah, okay. So they talk about the Roman soldier and the Pompey. That was that one that I remember. The 18th century mud honey was imported to Europe, where it was added to alcoholic beverage. I mean, if you don't know it's in your last few glass and you drink it on top of being already pretty drunk, holy crap, the surprise would be really bad. The Yeah, well, the people that I've seen on YouTube being all crazy about it, would say, be careful, guys. When you look at the side effect of it, you don't want to be nuts and eat too much of it in middle of nowhere with no medical attention, because it could go bad for you if you have some heart trouble or anything like that. So, but yeah, I found it quite funny that everyone was, oh man, it's super cool. I've talked to a couple people that took a lot of it one time, and they all said it's not the best buzz ever, dude. Like you could eat a handful of mushroom and have a good, nice trip. Like Mad Honey is not the nicest trip ever. It's maybe it looked cool like that, but it's a bit like eating one of those scorpion pepper or super or naga or whatever, all those really strong hot pepper. Yeah, those challenge may be funny to look at, but I did some challenge in the past, and it's how painful it is for days sometimes. Your guts will hurt, man. And it's not only that you want to shove a ice cube up your bum, it's that it hurt your gut so long. And yeah, you feel weird and strange for a while, but I don't know. For me, it can be really spicy, but not being at that point. It's kind of a stage where I would stop myself. Yeah. Uh, the best was for me the habanero. It just hot enough. Past habanero, it start to be. You need to be really careful. I use it to flavor stuff, not to make
I
it too
like
spicy.
I like really spicy ones. Like I love growing like ghost peppers and other weird like I have boot jalokias and a bunch of the ones that are like melts your fucking asshole out. But I like taking them and cooking them down for like 2 to 4 hours and making like a sauce because then you get like a lot of the other flavors out of them if you slow cook them that
Yeah.
way, and it takes some like a lot of the heat off of it, so you actually can get those like other
It's more
terpenes
equal heat
and
also.
like
It's not
other
like
yeah, so you can actually taste the rest of the fucking pepper. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and if you mix a couple of them together, you can get some really cool um flavors out of it. So that's like something I like to do is make like hot sauce kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was using a bit of balsamic vinegar in my hot sauce, or wine vinegar, but yeah, it make it a bit more fancy.
You can use vinegar too for like nutrient extracts. There's a Nigel Palmer has a bunch of stuff on this. Hold on, let me go to his website here. But if you haven't checked it out and you're into the KNF scene, because like this dude doesn't get talked about much in the weed circles. I'm not really sure why. But loading. That's him. He's got a great book on KNF stuff. Um,
Yeah, but honestly, there's a lot of those really expert gardener that they could
go.
grow anything, man. Like
So he has like the amendment description where it was made and then the nutrient content for it. But he has like yeah, FPJs, FPJs, FPJ, FPJ, fermented fish, and then vinegar extracts. So this is like vinegar and oyster shells and apple cider vinegar, cow bones, organic apple cider. So basically doing like a WCA with vinegar.
to
Um,
dissolve everything in vinegar, because cow
yeah,
bone, you need to break them for.
to make calcium. And then facial hair, second extract with vinegar extract with mother, 5 months. So this was his facial hair. But look, it's like super high in phosphorus, like or potassium, 539 parts per million potassium. Fucking facial hair, which is crazy.
How much difference? There's silver in it. Okay, but
And then
not that much.
this one, I did facial hair, apple cider vinegar. And this one came out crazy high.
There's one that have, yeah, okay, so it can have yeah, quite a good
But it's
consistency.
interesting because you can actually compare the extracts. Like, you know what I mean?
Interesting, it gets phosphorus and
Yeah.
potassium in it.
Yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
especially for and he's got a bunch more info on our leaf mold fermentations. This would be like your Jadam mineral solution kind of thing.
there is something that
GLF.
have surprised me. When I was having a couple dog, I had a girlfriend that had a big dog, and I had my dog too. So we had dog hair so much that we could have filled some pillow every week. But the what were doing is putting everything with the mash of fruit. I was doing a lot of fermentation for alcohol. So I was mixing it with the mash and stuff from the garden, everything in a in a compost pile, and the dog hair were dissolving really fast in that. I was like, it's weird because normally like hair are not decomposing that fast, but sometime in compose they seem to be to get ate by something. I don't know exactly if some bugs like it, but when I started to read about it, they were saying it's got a bit of nitrogen in it, but it have also some sulfur, and the sulfur at one point can change the pH
Well, this is
of your
interesting.
soil because there's a lot.
Nettle FPGA, and then vinegar added. So it's like an FPGA that's then vinegar extracted. You got crazy high calcium, pretty high potassium too. So definitely like again, he's someone that like I think people need to check out a little more. He's got workshops, he's got books, um,
Singing nettle,
like Regenerative
when I
Growers
started
Guide
to
to
garden,
Garden Amendments. It's a good book if you haven't picked it up already. It's
you
also
got
got it
it
in
in
German,
German, Italian.
Italiano.
So yeah, singing nettle, if you can have it around or go collect some early in the spring before it start to bloom. I've found that it was like the most practical stuff for someone that don't have a lot of money. You're you can make some fermentation 2 times in the summer and apply it a couple times, maybe 3, 4 times through the summer. And I found it really, really good. But when I was growing some tomato, just a tiny bit of garden center compost and right in my soil and having that and a couple dry amendment for just basic amendment organic that granite powder or and stuff like that, whatever that you can find. Really basic stuff. I was spending the less possible and feeding most of my nitrogen and I think you say it's potassium, but like when I was feeding that really heavily after transplanting my tomato, they were having a boom of growth, and they were growing a foot in that next week. But the thing is that all my neighbor were complaining about all the blue bugs, the blue fly that were going to, just on the soil because there was like that stench. Like if I had put some pig shit all over my garden, it was stinking so much.
This is another thing from Thailand that we used all the time that you don't really have in the States much, but I did find it on Etsy
Wood
recent.
vinegar?
Wood vinegar, yeah. So um you like foliar spray it. So it's like vinegar that had like wood smoke ran through it like a bong. So it like gets the essence of the wood smoke. It smells like a campfire, like when you spray it on, but like it fucks up mold and it like really boosts the vigor of your plants, especially like obviously don't use it late into flower. You're not trying to like barbecue flavor would add
Ink
smoke
trace
flavor to the
tolerance
weed,
to sodium.
but it really fucking helps with a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, it increases sodium tolerance in the plants as well, which is pretty cool. But if you're looking for like boosting your clones, or you got like insect attacked plants and veg that need to like kind of get a bit of a boost, this is a good thing to check out. And a little bit goes a long way. The dilution rate's pretty good on it. So
Do you
one
think
to
we can?
700, 1 to 900, 1 to 600. So you make 600 to 900 gallons depending on your application rate per gallon of use. So
I'll try to see if we can get it in Canada.
though you should be able to get. I mean, this is OMRI certified in Europe and everywhere else too. So it should be. It's just vinegar, right? So there's not much to it. So it's definitely something that if you're looking for something else for mold control or just general insect resistance, and it boosts vigor at the same time, like it will make your plants grow faster. It's pretty great.
There's really a website called Woodvine Ga Garu USA. Holy crap. Okay, so yeah, okay, they ship it direct to Canada at least.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything that's really restricted. It's not a pesticide per se. It's just like vinegar that went through like a wood fire bong.
So it's wood vine vinegarusa.com that I see. It's not a secure website, which is strange.
Oh
But
yeah.
they say wood vinegar Canada all over. So yeah, we can get it at least. We can get it on. Okay, you had Verdi Life, the brand.
What's
By
up, Jim?
wood vinegar.
Chat. Just screw the best AP weed I've ever had. Awesome. What strain did you grow? Chat. Yeah, what was cool about the wood vinegar is like when you go and you spray that through your greenhouse and you come back in like an hour or two afterwards, all the plants are like praying hardcore. Like it really fucking makes them happy. Like you can walk in, like look at the room and be like, oh shit, this looks better than before I sprayed, like immediately afterwards. Whereas like most things you spray on your plants don't do that. You know what I mean? Certainly not part of your IPM, most things in your IPM protocol don't do that to plants.
Boys, kind of getting late.
Uh,
What's that? You're a bit quiet.
I said it's kind of getting late. You guys want to start closing her off, or what do you figure?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go play pool here in like 30 minutes, so it works for me.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Good.
If
uh,
anybody oh, check out too. I had a great episode on Monday with Kevin McKernan. We talked about a lot of cool stuff, and this is something I wanted to mention today on the show. So he was talking about how they tested genetically sequenced a bunch of plants for a hop latent viroid, and in veg was undetectable in the roots and the flowers and the upper part of the plant. And
Yeah.
then when they flipped to flower, it suddenly expressed and they were able to find it. They even had plants that they intentionally infected. They injected it with the viroid because they're making the HLVD synthetically. They got the DNA sequence, and now they can just print it when they need it for their testing. And it's pure HLVD. And they're infecting plants intentionally and not seeing any of it. Like, even though they know that they put millions of fucking starters in there, that they're not seeing it in veg. The plant is suppressing it to the point where it's undetectable in DNA sequencing. And then when they go flip the plants to flower, that's when they're seeing it. So basically, like if you're trying to pheno hunt or check all of your moms, you have to check it in flower, not in veg, because veg will give you a false negative, where it's not high enough viral load to affect the plant, but it's present, and then when you flip it to flower, so you could sell clones as like certified clean, because you tested them in veg for the parent material, and then it will um, you flip, you buy them as a client and then flip it, and then suddenly you have HLVD in your room. So like that's something that like we didn't know about that virus, and it's like really interesting because like who the fuck thought that, right? That's like a really weird thing to learn about and figure out and like discover with the plant. You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't remember exactly what was the thing I've heard it about, but there was that thing where they were saying, "Oh, there is sometimes a branch that die on my plant," and they were thinking it was in the water. I've heard it this week. Someone was saying that, and found it funny because I've seen it once in a while, but it was always plant from the similar type of origin. And they had once in a while they were having a healthy branch and they were killing that branch to feed another one. Like the other one was becoming the head or whatever. But there was like that plant that had that capacity, let's say, to isolate the less healthy part and kill it. And even then, like even if there was nothing on that branch, there was always like one of the branch that you think would be big and healthy and was just getting killed by the plant. And I started to ask that to a couple of people, and they said that there is some strain that they've seen that, let's say, if there are some bugs that start to attack on that branch, the plant was just killing that branch. So I've started to find it strange because the strain they were saying if you break that branch and put it back in place right away, it may take, but otherwise the plant just don't don't give any juice to it, and you were really seeing like it was drying out completely at that point, and was man, there's something a defensive system in it that it may be used for some viruses, and that maybe that part have the the plant is more affected in a weaker area, and he get rid of his weaker branch like that. A bit like some strain may not have a lot of bottom small shoot, and those that don't have as much small shoot in the health in the bottom of the plant seem to be more resistant to some type of bug invasion because the bug don't have they don't have as much place to go hide under all those small internal than at the bottom of the plant where anyway the plant is not healthy over there, you know. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be known about all those small detail of the defensive system of the plant. But I think also that if everyone is breeding with similar cross altogether, it would be maybe a bit more hard to identify some really good strain that have some mechanism like that of defense to against the virus or other stuff like that. I think it was the African strain they were saying it was just in the roots to detect the viruses. So that's why I'm just thinking of that. I've seen it happen with other stuff that there's maybe no commercial variety that have the trait that we search for as a resistant trait, you know. So it would be interesting for the future. So yeah, well, I think it's gonna be pretty much it for the week. We'll try to find a couple of funny stuff for next week, or maybe a girl party next week. I don't know if we can organize it for next week, but try to find something about it. A girl night.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right.